Chapter 26. It had taken the Germans until taps to miss the Polish recruit. Then the hunt for him had started. Nearer and nearer to the Kling Pearson came the search party. But Uncle Victor was calm. If you couldn't find the boat in the daytime, knowing it was here, they're not going to find it at night, he comforted Peter. So let's not worry about their finding us. I'm only hoping that Torp and the other two don't pick this time to come aboard. The Germans trailed up the valley well beyond the two fallen trees, but here the snow was clear of footprints, as the three in the cabin knew. So their trip only served to churn the snow and widen the hunt, for with many footprints on the ground, later search parties would have more territory to cover. Uncle Victor, Rolls, and Peter continued to crowd at the peepholes in the fir branches over the ports. After a time, they saw the Germans turn back towards the cliff and the beach. If they search the woods and they can't help coming on the ski trail of our friend here, Uncle Victor met Jan Lasik. That'll lead them here by the back way, and you can be sure they'll do some close searching. The next morning, the Snake was quiet as always. The Germans evidently had not yet found the ski trail, and Uncle Victor hoped to be at sea before they did. Just before dawn, Hans Torp and the two other sailors came aboard. They took turns watching for the enemy's approach. But the morning wore away, and they neither saw nor heard anything. The last of the gold would be brought down that afternoon. When it was dark, the Kling could sail. It was going to rain, Peter noted with satisfaction. It wouldn't matter now. The gold had been saved. Lovisa's and Michael's teams came to the Snake that day. Peter went out to join them, for he would be going back to town with them. He longed to remain in the Snake, to see Uncle Victor set sail, but for the safety of them all and for the accomplishment of all they had set out to do, he made no protest when Uncle Victor said he must go back to town. "Oh, Peter, we did it! We did it!" Lovisa threw her arms around him. "Every last brick's out of the cave. It's all down here. We fooled them. We fooled those old goose-steppers." "What about the soldier that's missing?" Peter wanted to know at once. "Was there a search for him in the town last night?" "Was there? Well, you should have been at home. In the middle of the night, they pounded on the door. Pierre Garson went to open it. They almost knocked him down pushing past him. They started searching the house. They looked in closets, even with Mother's dresses. They woke Bunny up, and he started hollering. Mother told them she didn't know what they were looking for, but if they'd tell her, she'd know how to help them. But they just went on poking behind curtains." "Do they think we'd hide one of their men? Why are they making this fuss?" "I guess on account of his being a Pole and forced against his will to join their army." "Was he? How do you know that? How do you know he's a Pole? Nobody in town said he was a Pole." But Peter wouldn't tell. Lovisa went on. "There's a notice on the school door. It said that anyone with information about this missing soldier must report at once to the commandant, and if anyone is found to know something and hasn't told, he'll be punished with death. Ugh, these Germans." "Woo," Peter whistled. "Mother's afraid of the Holmes, Lovisa went on. "She thinks the missing man might be hiding around their barn, and she's going down this afternoon to warn them to get him out. For she said if they did find anyone there, it'd be pretty hard to make the Nazis understand the Holmes didn't want him. She'll be there when we get back." Peter nodded. "Let's get these bricks down and get out of here." Lovisa turned back to her sled, and Peter, watching her, saw her stiffen in fright. "Look, Peter," she whispered. Into the Snake filed a company of German soldiers and an officer. "They've come to search," Lovisa said. "They did that last night. I guess they've come to look again." "Peter, what'll we do? They'll see us with the gold." "Right," he snapped into action. "The kids will have to hurry. Get your bricks in the snow. Quick, team." He lowered his voice. "Here come the Germans." Like squirrels bearing nuts, the children burrowed in the snow. It flew in all directions. "Not so deep," Peter directed. "Just lay the bricks down and start the snowmen. Faster, they're coming." Mittened hands had unloaded the sleds. Now the snow was being patted into hard lumps. The children were well practiced after so many months of winter. Soon was standing a fine army of snowmen. Michael's team was farther up the valley by the farthest of the two fallen trees. Peter gave the whistle they used at school when Mr. Anders was coming. Michael whistled back. Then he must understand. He'd know that someone was coming, that danger was near. "All right, Lovisa, let them come." Peter dropped on his knees in the snow and began another figure. It was easier to do that than to stand waiting for the Germans. In all the weeks they'd been coming to the Snake, this would be the first time the Germans had come there at the same time. Lovisa thought something of this, too. "They had to wait for the very last day," she grumbled. "Then they let us bring every last bit of gold out. Then they come and find it." "Shh," Peter cautioned. "Don't let them know you think anything is out of the ordinary in their coming here. They're only looking for the runaway soldier, you know." It was Lieutenant Sitdown who led the company into the Snake. They came plodding through the snow to the level space between the two trees, and here the ground was dotted with children and snowmen. "There's no one here but these youngsters," he told the sergeant. "There's no use to ask them if they saw anyone, for they won't answer. I think we might as well go back." The sergeant drew up stiffly. "Pardon, Herr Lieutenant," he said. "The commandant comes."